the wrecking yard. I met my true love down in the wrecking yard. I met my true love called a wreck Chevrolet, which I see every day. It has old worn
Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of The Wrecking Yard. My name is Tony. I'm still the head cheese around here. That song that you just heard a snippet of is Quick Trigger, parentheses, My Friend Nestor, by the band Mars and the Massacre. Three guys from Indiana, currently living in Los Angeles, trying to make their way in the music industry. I first met these guys a few years ago. They were moving to Los Angeles at around the same time that I was moving out of Los Angeles. One of the members of the band, Pete, his dad I knew from way back in the 70s, had given me a call and asked me if I could help him get started doing background acting work so that he wouldn't be unemployed the minute he got there. So he came over to my apartment, and I gave him some pointers and told him who to talk to and where to sign up and whatnot, and it worked out well for everybody. He worked as a background extra for a few years, but as you'll find out during this podcast, he has since found a much more rewarding area of work in the cannabis industry that pays the bills until the band's ship comes in. I really enjoyed talking to these guys. They're the youngest people I've talked to so far. I mean, so far everyone I've talked to has been in my age range, but all these guys are in their early to mid-20s, and so it was kind of refreshing to talk to somebody who had somewhat of a different viewpoint than I did. I have to say that when one of them told me that his first musical memory was his mom listening to Nirvana really loud in the car, it made me feel old enough to have supervised the building of the pyramids. You'll find this to be a very enthusiastic conversation with three guys who seem to have a good rapport with each other. I hope you have as much fun listening to it as I did conducting it. I have to say that it warms my heart when I see the young'uns rocking out, and that's certainly the case here. I'm going to play Quick Trigger in its entirety at the end of the podcast, so you might want to listen to that. It's a great rockin' tune with good hooks and some nice ebbs and flows in the arrangements. So here they are, Mars and the Massacre.
Mostly the only time I haven't really felt safe is when I'm driving in Laurel Canyon.
Why is that?
It's because I have the treacherous roads.
Oh, right.
Like, you know, because we drive scooters. And you know, some of those passes, and because especially the rich, it's funny.
Wait, stop! You deliver on scooters?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You don't do it in your
like
car?
That scooter that had that orange one out there. That's what John drives.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We have a couple of people that deliver in their cars, but especially for downtown LA, it's nearly impossible to deliver in a car.
Because of parking?
Parking.
Yeah,
a lot of people live in high-rise apartments, and also the traffic, getting through traffic and all that stuff. It makes our deliveries much quicker. So we, and our clientele are across the board. Mm. So, like, you know, sometimes we'll be in sketchy. Like, I've delivered a few places in Skid Row. And sometimes you'll feel a little sketchy there. It's like, okay, I want to make this delivery pretty quick. I want to get out of here. But then when you're in the rich neighborhoods, it's always like, Jesus fucking Christ, why would anybody pay big money to live here? These roads suck, and like the houses are on giant cliff sides that could fall at any moment.
I always think
and their driveways are insane.
If I had
Remember Alex's driveway?
Yeah,
I never
and they're
went up
all insanely rich houses.
But I always
it's like
think about
I don't
Like,
see why
if I had
how it's worth
all
it.
the
But that
money in the
view,
world,
that view.
yeah. But like, I'm a big walker and stuff like that. Like I would hate to be up in
So
the.
I could overlook all the
I'd
peasants.
hate to be up in the hills and like want to go to a bar or something like that and have to like. You'd have to drive down. There's no way you're gonna walk down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right?
That bums me
There
out.
was one guy that lives in Los Feliz in the Hollywood Hills, and it's the only way to get to his house is to walk up this extremely steep flight of stairs. Like 50 fucking steps.
Yeah.
You get up there and you're like huffing and wheezing, and like the guy's like, hey, and he's like, do you do this for like groceries and all that stuff? He's like, yeah. And it's like, God damn, dude.
Yeah, I'd be ordering groceries all the time.
Yeah,
Let me
right?
see your calves.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Now,
Yeah.
we've been recording for like the last 5 minutes.
Oh, right on.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'll tell you what, why don't we go around the horn and why don't you each introduce yourself?
All right, cool.
I'm John. I'm John Newell.
I'm Peter Doherty.
And I'm Ethan Walden.
All right. And collectively known as?
Mars of the Massacre.
Massacre.
All right. Now, cool. And we were previously not talking about anything musical, which is fine. You were talking about the job that pays the bills, right?
Yeah.
Which is?
I work for a cannabis delivery service.
Right. Now, that's something that we don't have in Indiana, or at least if we do, I don't hear about it. But now you say you do it on scooters.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ended up.
Now, the company supplies these scooters? You have to buy them yourself?
The
Or?
company supplies them.
Really?
Yeah, I ended up getting one because I had an accident last year, but car got totaled. Anyway, I got one. I love it. You can zoom through traffic
yeah.
and split lanes. It's legal to split lanes here.
Do you turn it in at night, or are there rules about private use?
Yeah, we just park it inside.
Ah.
Generally.
Mm-hmm. We have 2 locations, and we park them inside downtown, and then Hollywood we actually have our own little parking, fenced-off parking lot.
Right. Now, how many of you are there?
It's like 22, 23.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the odd man out. I'm not a part of that. But
And
Hey, if
work for
I'm a little
the,
too scared to ride the scooter, to be
If I
honest.
ever moved back here,
Yeah.
wow.
we
John
put you on the
took
list.
John let me get on the back of his scooter once and drove me
Scared the
around
shit
and
out
it
of me.
scared the shit out of me.
You know, I like motorcycles, but whenever my dad would take me on a ride or whoever, I did not like being the passenger on a motorcycle because
Oh,
you
yeah.
just
It's a little sketchy.
You're helpful.
well, you have no control. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even if you're the passenger side of a car, at least you got a seatbelt or you got something you can kind of grip onto or
Yeah,
whatever, or the fake brake pedal.
Right.
Yeah.
On a motorcycle, it's just like if this guy dies, I do.
Yep. Yep.
Well, I was turning. I had Emily on the back, and I was turning, and I hit a patch of gravel, and it slipped out. Yeah, this was like a month ago or 2 months.
Did she
ago.
fall off?
Yeah, we both fell.
Seriously?
Oh my
Back in
god.
the head, I like scraped my chin a little.
Was she
bit.
okay?
Yeah, she's fine. She scraped her hand.
Oh
ever so
man,
slightly.
I didn't hear about that.
That's
crazy.
She must have been pretty upset about that
She
one.
is quite verklempt. Yes.
I dropped my motorcycle twice when I had it. Once I was pulling it out of the garage and brought it through the yard, and I guess there was a lot of dew on the grass or whatever, and I started up and I took off and it just went sideways
Yeah.
right on top of me. But the other time, and I feel bad and I don't suggest anybody else do this, but I never wore a helmet, okay? And
Well, you
because
have
it
to
messed
wear
up
one,
my
yeah.
hair. And so
Yeah.
I know it was
I don't have
horrible.
any hair.
I understand that, but I also found out that if I would ride my motorcycle right after I wash my hair, by the time I get to where I'm going, it would look really great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That
So-
air dry.
So I was coming home from work one night on College, right near 71st Street, right in front of the blind school.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And a road apple fell from the tree and hit me right in the face. It just like turned into applesauce into my eyes.
No
I was
way.
probably about 40. And
Ow.
Ow.
not only did it hurt, but I couldn't see. I felt like I knew I should stop, but I didn't know where because I couldn't see.
Yeah.
And I'm just like wobbling all over the place, wishing I'd worn a helmet.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I didn't drop it, but I just eventually made it to about halfway through that intersection. And I stopped and looked, and luckily it was green and there wasn't anybody around. But
That's
my
good
God.
shit.
Wow.
I've had a couple accidents so far. The gravel, that was my fucking fault, but other people. One time the light was starting out and somebody turned left in front of me as I was accelerating and I ran into him. And,
Yeah.
Just stupid stuff. But
That's so scary.
yeah. We could talk about the weed shit all day.
Yeah, I guess we probably should move on. Why don't can all three of you tell me where you're from?
Oh man.
Yeah, well, Ethan and I we grew up almost in the same neighborhood. Both Indianapolis.
Broader Pole.
I grew up in the Broader Pole area. Ethan,
Same.
Yeah.
Kokomo.
Me and Peter lived like 5 blocks away from each other growing up.
And how did you end up meeting them?
My brother recorded bass for a couple songs for an album
For the Working Hour.
for Working
Yeah,
Hour,
the
which
band
was a
before.
band.
This is the first one or the second one?
This is
The
The first album. they
Yeah.
did.
the first,
Okay.
actually the one that we were talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'll
when you got
I'll
here.
fill them in.
Yeah.
My friend who lives in Playa del Rey bought a house in Hawaii,
Mm.
and she's going to ship her car down there, but it had a half a tank of gas, and you had to bring it down to a quarter tank gas before they put it on the boat. So they asked me if I'd go drive around,
In Hawaii?
burn some gas. No, here in town.
Oh, in Playa.
before
Oh,
they
Playa.
put it on the
I
boat.
see. Yeah.
Yeah, so the other night I took off and I'm driving. I mean, literally, I'm going everywhere. I go check out the old petty house. I go check out where I used to live. My favorite taco places. Just driving around, just seeing how things
Burning
change.
gas.
And it's a Honda, so it's taking forever. I mean,
Yeah.
I was out for like 3.5 or 4 hours. I was like, But that's the CD I was listening to. Before I left. Long story short, I had an accident in my closet where everything was too heavy for the shelves and it all kind of caved into like a V-shaped mountain pile of discs. And I've been going through them and trying to reorganize them. And I found yours along with a couple other local CDs that I'd had. Apparently must have been in the same box when they fell. So, and I grabbed them when I came out. And I said, I'm going to listen to these, on the way out. And I ended up listening to The Working Hour probably 3 or 4 times in a row just while I'm driving around California. And like I told him, and he gave the credit to somebody else, but I mean, I think you should take at least some of it, is I thought that the album sounded like your 5th or 6th album. It sounded like it was really confident, like you knew what you were doing. I thought the arrangements were strong. Their way, it wasn't just verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus. There were vocal harmonies. It just sounded like you guys had been doing it forever, and yet you were like, what, 17, 18?
Yeah. I mean, I joined the band right around, that band in particular, right around that time. I'm not on that album. I was on the next one. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of translated into this band a little bit with like some of the melodic stuff that we do, and some of that pop background. And
I'm definitely a sucker for melody. And it's I was a Beatles kid.
Sure. I mean, so was I. I mean,
Yeah.
very literally. And that's my first memory. My very first memory that's been etched into this brain is seeing the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. I could have been more than 2.
Yeah.
So, I had a babysitter once that, like, when FM radio started getting really popular, she was like, well, you need to listen to FM radio. They don't play all that bubblegum stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like that bubblegum stuff.
Yeah.
And I still do. I mean, I'm a sucker. Like you said, I mean, a lot of people give the Monkees a bunch of shit, but the Monkees had some great songs.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like that bubblegum, like that Castanet Cat stuff, like Indian Giver and 1, 2, 3 Red Light. Well, fuck them. I like that stuff too.
Yeah.
I like the Banana Splits theme, and if anyone doesn't like it, they can kiss my ass.
Yeah.
So, I just don't think there's anything wrong with enjoying what you enjoy. And if it happens to be some sweet-sounding vocal harmonies, well, okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I was surprised with, is you guys had those. As well as, like I was telling him, it doesn't seem like these days anybody puts an interesting bridge between 2 parts anymore. And there was a bunch of that on there. So my ears catch that stuff instantly because I just don't hear it that often. So,
For sure.
Congratulations on a good record that I caught late.
I wasn't listening.
I wasn't on it either.
But my brother recorded a couple songs playing the bass for it.
Okay.
And then when they needed a new guitarist, he just recommended me, and so I went and tried out. And it's like, well,
got him.
these guys are fucking weird.
Yeah, honestly, you honestly thought that. Actually,
No, I love it.
when John joined the band, that was only probably a few months, or maybe a little bit more, before we moved out to LA. And I remember telling John, being like, we're going to move to LA. I mean, do you want to come with us? I know you haven't been with us for very long. And he's like, sure. And so we just kind of moved out, you know.
Well, it seems to have worked out all right.
Oh,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But that is some commitment to move out on a short notice like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just got out
wasn't
of
doing much
school.
else. I was like working at a Marriott.
Yeah, I got out of school,
Like that.
and I was working, that summer I was working, like, some job, you know, that was not a super career-heavy job. It was kind of a pass-the-time job.
Sure.
And I feel like you guys were kind of doing similar things, just working, making, you know, ends meet. And so it was just kind of an exciting opportunity, I thought, you know, try something different.
And musically, the only outlet I had was like I was playing for a cover band.
Well, yeah,
The
same with
horn
us.
section,
A lot of
you
people
know,
do
besides
that.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it can be fulfilling in a way, but, you know, I didn't have that sort of fulfillment from it.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
No, it's a paycheck, but it's not an artistic paycheck.
nah.
Yeah.
No. It's okay. Now,
I had to wear a vest.
Right. Now, I know your dad fairly well, so I'm assuming that you grew up in a household not just with Beatles, but probably Buzzcocks and all sorts of.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. So yeah, my because my mom and dad. Actually, I got a lot
Pause
of.
just 1 second.
Well, I had the benefit of being the youngest child of two other siblings so I had a bunch of different generations of music going on at the same time. So I had the modern stuff coming from both my sisters and my mom, really. Probably my first musical memory was my mom listening to Nirvana. In 1992 in
I feel ancient.
in the back seat of my mom's Volvo. My mom like blasted it, when it came out. She was into that and like Guns N' Roses. So I listened to quite a bit of both of those bands.
Right.
And then my dad was into like Alice Cooper, Kiss, The Who, Frank Zappa, big time. So I definitely got a lot of that. And then also my mom was into like Elvis Costello, Steely Dan, The Pretenders.
Well, your dad was
Talking
always in all those
Heads.
punk new wave shows.
Yeah,
there
for
are
sure.
pictures to prove it.
For sure.
They look exactly like Peter, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it was all that going on at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's weird though, because when you're a kid, you think that's like, because when you go to school and you talk to your friends and they're like, yeah, like parents are lame, they're stupid. So I would always associate that with lame and stupid stuff. It's like, oh, that's just parent stuff,
Right.
Adult stuff. That's like the lame adult grown up music. And then you come to find out that like, oh shit. Like, I actually had the exception where, like, my parents listened to really good music.
Exactly. My mom, not to that degree, but, we still had, like, Beatles albums around the house and Simon and Garfunkel, like, halfway.
My grandmother owned Uma Guma.
Really?
Yeah.
Not by accident?
No, like, she was a Pink Floyd fan. My grandmother was a fan of Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Or is a fan of Pink
Yeah,
Floyd.
my grandma stopped at the ink spot, so I got nothing to come back with on that one. But yeah, I remember seeing, there was a time in Indianapolis that if you bought a stereo, you probably bought it off of one of three people, and your dad was one of those people. I mean, he was just like,
Yeah.
I'm sure you don't remember, there was a time when having a really nice stereo was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And you always go like, oh, I know a guy that can hook you up. And it'd always be like one of three guys. And that's how I knew your dad. Because he worked with the other two guys.
Hi-Fi Buys or...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And
Right on.
also, I believe Sound Pro and Carmel
Right
at
on.
one point.
I think so.
Or that might have been right around the time that your dad branched off on his own.
Might have been. I'm honestly not sure.
Yeah. I didn't quite understand when your dad first branched off. I wasn't quite sure I understood. I was like, "You're doing what now?" And then like 5 years later, he was rich, and I was like, "Damn." So
he constantly says he was very, very lucky. So
well, he worked for that luck. He definitely did.
he's definitely a hard worker for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so now we reach a point where when you guys were together in Indianapolis, did you guys play a lot of shows? I don't remember ever seeing Again, I'm old and I don't see flyers probably as much as other people
We
do.
played a fair amount of shows.
It's kind of like John was saying though. Like when we started, like
we still had to do covers.
we were doing
in
like
order
3-hour
to play
shows, and they'd be covers, and we'd sprinkle in the originals.
Right.
So I mean, and those were good paychecks for sure.
We made good money. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Our
we
originals were well received.
Yeah.
But, like nobody wanted to go to see an original show.
And I feel like it's changed in India a little bit because at the time, like I just feel like we had a hard time finding venues that we wanted to play at and things like that. Like, but now there's like I feel like there's a lot now, like radio,
going on.
Yeah, like
there was.
What's the other one called? We haven't played there yet, but the hi-fi or something, or
yeah,
something like that. But yeah, I feel like indies evolves a lot, which is cool. But at the time, we were playing the same bars and stuff like that, having to play the cover shows, and so that was kind of a
It was a buzzkill.
yeah. So I mean,
So we were working with this dude that we were linked up with through the singer of the band because he had hit him up via email or some bullshit. I don't know. But we ended up working with this producer who did like Jack's Mannequin and Something Corporate, and I think he worked with No Doubt Engineering. I don't know, a bunch of stuff.
He's a West Coast, California producer with a really good,
good ear,
just really good resume
pop.
and a really good ear for music for sure.
And is he the one that told you it's time to head west?
Yeah,
kind of, yeah,
pretty much,
actually.
yeah.
He came out and he did a session at the place, Peter's. They had the garage, and it was just a great setup because his dad was working on the sound. We just had all this great gear to record with and whatnot. So
yeah,
he
we
was
started.
recording,
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
and we did all that. He went back out, ended up talking to somebody, and they were like, "Okay, well, here's a deal."
Mm-hmm.
It was like a subdivision of Sony called Phase 1 or some bullshit. And
it was a bogus deal,
it's a
much.
360 deal, which is pretty common now.
But like as 21, 20, 22-year-olds, we were like so stoked about getting our first, interest in us that we were like kind of like we need to move not physically move, well kind of, but also just we need to move on this and like start acting on the band, and like if we want to take this seriously, then we got to take it seriously.
Yeah. So we did not take the offer because the lawyer was like, you're going to have to fucking, basically they front you a lot of money, and
there was something about them owning our songs and stuff, and
yeah, the master rights weren't good, and we had to pay them back before we started getting any profit of our own. And
that's pretty common, but this sounds like a 50s contract where they basically said, we're going to give you a hot dog and a beer.
I think
here's a nickel, and that's all you're getting. Thanks for the $1 million album or single.
It was a very just like the upfront deal was just like not it was it wasn't kind of
doing
like
anything for us.
No. We
already had a lot
in
of
the hole later on, maybe.
Yeah, we already had some of our recordings, stuff like that, and we already had like some of the resources that we needed, and it just was like.
But
we decided to move west because we were like, okay, producers out there. He's the one who got us the connection for that anyway, so it makes sense for us to be out here. So we moved out here. It was kind of weird from the get-go because the singer, we were all supposed to like live together, and he just got his own place and was kind of absent and shit a little bit.
I mean, it worked for like a year, and then it kind of unraveled just because I think Andy was the kind of guy that
he just excels at whatever he does, but he needs to jump from thing to thing.
Exactly.
And
I think we also we had like a high level expectation, and when we got out here, it wasn't what we expected.
And
so
I think Andy especially kind of expected a lot more in a shorter amount of time, and I think he's always been that kind of perfectionist, calculating type person, to his benefit and detriment at the same time, where like like when something doesn't work out right from the get-go, he's just like, well, I'm just going to move on to something else. And then he right now he's doing really well. He's doing film work for I can't remember now. It's been for a few different things, like stuff with video game networks, and like doing host work basically. Because he's always had a very charismatic personality, and it's from what I
think that's one thing we learned out when we first moved out too, and dealing with all that working hour stuff and stuff like that is like we didn't realize taking it seriously is one thing, but like actually like feet on the ground, like we need to like bust our ass, like it was a lot more like when we started Mars. We were like, okay, well, we don't want to have the same approach to it. We want to like actually go to shows all the time and be present in the scene rather than just kind of make music and hope people listen.
Yeah, I think how we approached the working hours was like, okay, we're gonna make this pop album and we're gonna sell it to people who want to use it, and like we were trying to appeal to big record labels and get it put into movies and like aiming for the top right from the get go.
A couple good
and it worked. We did actually have a few licensing agreements, and we made some money. And
that's what kind of like kept that ambition going.
But when we made Mars, it was like, you know what? We're gonna approach this the complete opposite way. We're gonna do it how every rock band's done it, from the roots up. Get into the scene and befriend everybody. Go to shows, support other local groups, and constantly play all the fucking time.
Well, that's especially important in this town because I mean, it's not just music, but any arm of the entertainment industry. Networking is you hated it, but you have to do it. You can't sit in a bubble and produce Citizen Kane and hope.
And I think when we did the working hour, I think we did the networking in kind of the wrong way. We kind of networked with the wrong people from the start. We were talking to big wig executives and but like the wrong type of executive type of people, like kind of sleazy kind of situations.
I can't.
Should we not hate on people?
You don't have. Yeah, I mean, this is totally up to you. You don't have to name names.
I don't want to shit on anybody in particular, but like we had a lot of sleazy situations, especially like in the pop rock realm of like trying to deal with like the high up people right from the get go. It didn't feel like
organic.
It didn't feel organic. It didn't feel genuine. Yeah. It was all the type of cliche things that you would think about Hollywood right from the get go. It was stupid.
We never had anybody to say, "Suck my dick and I'll get you a pack."
It wasn't like that.
How many people have heard that?
It wasn't like that kind of shit. But it was just like
it was about a business rather than like making creative, cool music that we enjoyed,
and all the while nobody really seemed like genuinely interested in the music, and when it kind of came down to that, it was just like, well, fuck, like, and like, including the members, really, like, I think it came to a certain point where all of us was like, this isn't the music I want to be fucking writing.
We just didn't care anymore.
I think Mars was like, when we kind of formed Mars, we were like, listen, guys, like, I just want to like write what I want to write, and I don't want to put any kind of I don't want to like, have my like display my song before a committee before it, gets the final say and all that kind of shit. I don't want this kind of bureaucratic process with making what I want to make.
And I think the way Mars came about was awesome too, and I think that we really enjoyed it because we all lived together. So the three of us lived together, and we had a setup in our house. So we every night
we constantly jam.
We would play it every single night, and it would be a different sound every single night until a point where we were like, oh, this is actually going somewhere. Maybe we should write actual songs.
Where do you practice now?
All over the place.
We mainly practice at John's Space in Huntington Park, and then
might as well give him my address.
I can gurgle that out.
At John's Space.
I'm paranoid. Yeah. Okay, I grow weed also for a living.
Come on, we don't have to give that out.
I just said John's Space. That could mean that means practice space.
If I was interrogating you for some sort of case,
you
guys would be in jail by now.
Yeah.
We are not prepared for the Secret Service. This is a really bad interview tape.
John, it's nice though because John has a big space that we can utilize, and he's got a new interest in recording, and so like it's cool because we have like a legit setup where we have like, and we record our practices now, and so like. We've been through a lot of different practice spaces, but this has been kind of nice because it's been kind of more of a home now.
It's good because the last year or so it's felt very floaty with where we've been able to practice, and for the first time in I'd say like 6 months, it's finally felt like a permanent spot. So
it's hard having to work,
especially in LA. It's tough finding a place to play really loud music without having the cops show up.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine who had that problem. He eventually ended up renting. Like a space somewhere that it looked like it used to be a storage house, but then they changed it to a band practice.
Yeah, you can rent a space, but like $350 to $600, $700 bucks.
Right.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, and a lot of times those are like holes in the wall,
right,
with no air conditioning, and like
I don't
know,
air conditioning, but
but I mean,
open,
it's a big open space. It's not
and the
a.
neighbors don't complain.
Nah.
No
neighbors.
Yeah. We will not disclose the location, but there are no neighbors.
There are no neighbors. It's out in the country.
Because we used to practice in the back room a second time around.
It's actually in the
old record store in Broad Ripple. And after 9:00, when we closed, most of the other stores around us had closed too, so we could just like rock.
Is it
out
that place? Is it by Mama
to.
Corolla's?
No, that was.
I'm thinking of a different record. That little record store.
That
right
was actually we practiced there too when the Math Batch had a reunion. They let us
nice.
practice there, and I feel bad. It was John Zepp's place, but I forget what it was called. Now I feel bad. I had a record store back in the '80s on the main drag of Broad Ripple, right next to Union Jack. Right, right on the corner there. It was Sigmund's Gallery for the longest time. Now it's a sandwich shop.
Okay, right.
Which sandwich shop? Sorry,
Herbert and Gerbert.
Oh, it must be new.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
So I could talk about I could talk about indie all day. I love talking about indie.
I thought you were going to start talking about sandwiches all day.
Oh, I could talk about that too.
Okay, so now when you guys rebooted, what was the first song you wrote together? Or the first one that was
the first Mars song.
Yeah.
The first one that people would know about.
The first Mars song that we released was Party Song. No, it was Party Song.
It was Party Song. No, because like we never released those though.
No, we never did.
Yeah, we had like a lot of like loose jams, but the first song we actually ever recorded and released was Party Song.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And my friend Nestor, where did that follow?
That was like right around that time. Actually,
that's probably like second or third.
I mean, actually, Nestor didn't get officially recorded till later, but we were playing my friend Nestor right at the same time as Party Song. Actually, Party Song and Nestor were kind of written at almost the same time.
We were actually just talking about that last night. Wait, have you talked to Nestor anytime recently?
Yeah,
oh, nice. Oh, cool. Yeah, we were just talking about him last night.
I stay in contact with him
because we were telling somebody. We were telling one of our friends about him last night,
and he was simply horrified at all of our stories.
He was completely unaware. He was like, I thought you just made up those lyrics about just a random guy, and we're like, no, that was like one of our first encounters in LA.
No, and those lyrics and like those lyrics in the song are very accurate.
They are. They are.
My God.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to post that song on the website.
Yeah.
And the link is going to be this one picture I have of Nestor
Nice.
holding this 6-pack of Shea Guevara soda.
Nice.
and he's got the look.
Yeah.
This is like a frown.
It's perfect. But look, in case he ever hears this,
Yeah.
I love Nestor.
Oh, I love him too.
I mean, Nestor, look, he was in my car once. I used to keep a baseball bat in the backseat of my car, not for any real reason other than the fact that I got it free from somebody and just never took it out of the car.
Yeah.
And so this guy, we pulled up a light or something. This guy was like, his thumb up his ass and wasn't going. And I honked at him, and the guy flipped me off, and I flipped him off, and this got kind of Nestor in kind of a royal
Agitated
a little
state.
bit. And so so this guy takes off, and we take off, and it just so happens we were going to the same place. I wasn't following him. It just so happens we were both going to the Glendale Mall. So this guy slams on his brakes, pulls over, and gets out of the car and starts walking towards our car, looking really shitty. Nestor, I didn't say a word. He already had that baseball bat in his hand. He got out of the car and he goes, "What? What?" And the guy goes, nothing, essay, nothing. And he just gets back in his car and took off.
That's awesome. That's awesome. He was awesome.
Yeah.
No, we
All
loved
he
him.
had to
I love
say
that guy.
was, what?
I mean, there was a while when we first met him that we hung out. I mean,
Well, he was buying us weed because we didn't.
No card?
We didn't have a medical card at that point. In
Well, he
time.
got a good deal at that one place,
Yeah,
too, that he
and
went to.
he hooked us up. It was nice.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. I love playing video games with that dude. And,
Well, here's, dude, this is...
I was worried about him sometimes.
Well, when I first
yeah.
moved into that apartment, he didn't like me, or at least he didn't think he liked me, and he pretty much just sort of kept a wide berth.
Yeah.
It took a couple of years, and I think he found out that I enjoyed, the herb, and I think that made me like maybe 1/8 cool, and so he was just enough for him to go like, hey man, you smoking some weed? Yeah, I'll smoke some with you, and we'd smoke it. We wouldn't really talk much. We'd just sit there and he'd just start a joint, blah blah blah, watch some TV, whatever, and then he started opening up, and then eventually he just became my friend next door.
Exactly,
I mean, he's
my friend Nestor.
He's much different than I am. He's got a much different background. He's got a much different
but he's-
opinion and theory about things.
Yeah.
But push comes to shove,
He's a good guy.
He's a
really
good guy.
good guy,
His kids are. I mean, I basically helped raise his kids at the beginning. I used to babysit whenever they had to go somewhere. I give them rides wherever they needed to go. So So how I found out about that song was your dad. He emailed me and he goes, "Hey, the boys just wrote this song, and I think it's about someone you know." And I was like going,
What?
well, that's weird. What the fuck? Nestor. And I was like, oh, wow. Dude, it's on my iPod right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I told Nestor, I was like going, Nestor. And he goes, what? They wrote a song about me. And I'm like going, no, dude, it's cool. I said, I got another band, Bramble Grit, that wrote 3 songs about me, and none of them were complimentary, so you're doing great.
Yeah, I was gonna say, has he heard it?
Huh? Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, he likes it, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
he's
awesome.
cool with it.
I was always wondering that. 'cause
They
we
wrote
wrote
a
it-
song around me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has the baseball bat. He wrote a song about me. Yeah.
What?
There's nothing negative in
No,
that
not
song.
at all. It's
I tried to make it as
literally
epic
my
as
friend
possible.
Nestor.
Oh, it was perfect. Every time at the time he got like really super drunk, and I just didn't want him to get in trouble. So I drove him around. I said, "Here, just get in the car. Let's just drive around. You got to cool off, man. You got to cool off." So we're driving around, and I noticed he's hanging out my window. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he was flashing gang signs at people out my window.
Jesus.
And I was like going, dude, how drunk are you? So finally I go get him. I said, let's go get a burger. Maybe that'll soak up some of your alcohol.
Yeah.
So we go over to Fat Burger, and I order, and I told him to stay in the car. I said, hey man, watch my iPod. Don't let anyone steal my iPod, okay? He said, okay. So I go in, I order this burger, and like 10 seconds after I walk in, I hear somebody behind me going, what? What are you looking at? And it was like he was trying to pick a fight with the guy who was grilling his burger. so
good.
as good as a guy as he is, if he's ever super drunk, don't drive him around in your car.
Right on.
Sorry, speaking of burgers, though, because I know you lived here for a long time, what's your favorite LA burger, though?
It used to be Cassell's over on
Where's that?
like I think 6th Street or 8th Street, and
Downtown.
for a while that was known as the best burger in town.
Yeah.
They moved, and I haven't been there since they moved. And a lot of times, the taste of the food depends on the atmosphere that you purchase.
Oh,
it
for
in.
sure, yeah,
so
yeah.
if it's a nice shiny new place, who knows?
Yeah.
But as far as just like a greasy, quick, oh god, I got to eat something quick before I go here.
Yeah.
I prefer Fat Burger to In-N-Out Burger.
Yeah.
Personally,
I go back and forth.
But before this goes too far, yesterday I saw a picture of a burger from Shake Shack.
Yeah.
Have you ever eaten there?
I ate there once. The line was way too long, though.
Well, all that
Yeah.
that's what somebody else said. But all I know is the picture of that burger made me go like, "Oh man, that looks like something I want to try."
But you know what
sometime."
it is?
Well,
It's steak and
it
shake,
looked
though.
good.
Well,
Oh, is it?
hey,
I mean, it's not
Because
the
the
same.
patties look
No.
pretty thick.
It's not, maybe it's, maybe
Well,
it's,
hey.
I was considered,
But if they're
similar.
crispy around the edges,
Maybe, yeah.
If you want a really good burger, just down the street, right off of, we're on 4th Street. If you walk down to past First Street, the first street past that is Garfield. There's a big like movie theater there. Grill 'em all.
that's a great name.
It's
And
a
it's
heavy
heavy
metal
bar.
themed
Or heavy bar,
burger
but heavy metal.
The
burger
Ronnie
joint.
James
there's
Dio
one of
burger.
those in Indianapolis too.
Oh, really?
It's not. No, it's not called the same thing, but it's a. It's in Fountain Square, and they name all their sandwiches after, like, the Lemmy Burger or the
Nice.
so
this one's
the
more like
Dio
this
Dog.
one's Slayer.
Yeah, they,
Or not
they,
Slayer.
they-
Iron Maiden.
Well, they got all kinds of amazing burgers there, like
Really?
huge burgers too, and it's they just had
It's
their.
close?
We might have
It's
to go
it's
there.
literally right down.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so good. I highly recommend
I gotta
it.
get back to
I always I get the.
Yeah.
But what?
How much time do you have?
I can stay for a bit.
I
Cool.
I always
go
get
to
the
lunch.
Cowboy from Hell. It's really damn good.
Uh-huh.
That's the Pantera burger.
Sure. I'm not that old. I know.
They got like the winger. They got
We're passionate about burgers.
They got like a Dio burger.
But like their logo and stuff is Iron Maiden. Like it's
Yes,
like based
yes,
on that.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
My brother used to work for Pantera, right?
Really?
Oh no!
Yeah, Pantera inked my brother.
No way.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I don't know which member, but one of them was
Yeah.
also a tattoo artist.
Oh,
And,
wow.
Yeah, my brother's got. He has like all the villains from Star Wars on one arm, the non-villains on the other arm, and he
that's
has
crazy.
basically his back is completely covered with various characters from Planet of the Apes.
Well,
That's
dude,
so
we met this guy in Amarillo,
Amarillo,
Texas,
yeah. I
whose
knew you were gonna say- I was
entire
gonna say
body was covered in
He has
Star
a full
Wars
body
themed
suit.
It's
a
a whole
body
body
suit of Star
His
Wars
back like a third of
tattoos.
his
The only-
fucking Jar Jar.
That sounds
Binks.
horrible.
But no,
He even
the-
had a large portion of his body dedicated to Jar Jar Binks.
It was like
His
a
back?
big part. No, it was
his
on
chest?
his chest. Yeah.
I could only
remember.
think of one part where I would put a Jar Jar Binks tattoo.
Well, that's what I'm
and
saying.
it's only because anatomically it would be kind of accurate.
That's what was so confusing because we were in there and he was like, "You guys want to see my tattoos?" And he wouldn't take off his clothes, but he was like, "I have it in a book." And so we're looking through the book, and I mean, it's everywhere. And then we like look at his chest, and it's like, "Is that Jar Jar Binks?" Like it's like a main part of it. Like it's like
like it's his favorite.
yeah, like almost
Jar
yeah.
Jar Binks.
I mean, Yoda. Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Admiral Akbar, cool. I'm
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It just seems strange for somebody who's so into it,
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
So-
he gonna do with all the new movies coming out, man?
Yeah, if you gotta leave room for some of the
Yeah.
new characters.
Actually, I don't think he has room. I think it's literally a whole body. Yeah.
Well, maybe he'll be like one of the classical painters and just go over some of it.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
I guess.
Different
Yeah.
color or something. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's heavy. I got tattooed from that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's a dagger poking through my skin.
Yeah.
I never made the jump.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't do it. I was gonna have Charlie Brown or something on just like a really small one once.
Yeah.
And I just thought about it for a while, and I was like, it's $200, and
Yeah.
I don't care
You're
that
gonna have it on
much.
there forever.
See, that
I
never-
didn't care that much.
That never
you know?
bothers me. Like I always think about because I like tattoos and people are always like I don't get them a lot, but like people are always like, oh, it's permanent. Like, what if I don't like it and whatever? And I always like thinking like, I don't know, I kind of like it, and this sounds cliche, but like as like chapters of your life. So it's like I'll look back at that and be like, oh yeah, I remember that time. That was a good time or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, this is where I'm going to come off as old-fashioned, but where I really dislike tattoos is anywhere on a woman.
Really?
I just can't do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is I get distracted easy.
Yeah.
So like I'm happy to go down on them, but if I got to look over and see Gandalf riding a butterfly over a rainbow, it's going to take me off.
Well,
my
if
I
it's
wish I
Gandalf,
could
if
see
it's
Gandalf.
Gandalf riding a butterfly,
Over a
then
rainbow.
I'm with you. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I like
always-
a lot of them or few of them. I feel like
You don't like just like piecemeal ones. Like you
I
need
don't
like
know. Whatever.
Well, I think the worst would
More I
be
think
the
about it, I
ones where
guess
they
I don't
won't
care.
commit, where they just
Yeah.
they have like a rose petal at the bottom of their ankle just so they can say they have a tattoo.
right, but not
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
I don't respect. If you're going to get
Yeah.
one, go ahead and get the
Go all
dragon.
out, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I go back and forth because I do think sleeves look cool. I don't think I'd ever get
my
one,
whole
but-
left arm done finished, but I don't know what the hell else I want. I have 3 along it. One of them's I don't know if you haven't seen this one. Do you like the band Yes? This is from the back of a Yes album.
Relayer.
So
Did you see Yes's induction ceremony?
No,
Their
I got
performance?
an argument with somebody about Rick Wakeman a couple of days ago. I mean, kind of a real heavy argument.
Oh, wow.
Look, there's this thing, it's been going on for years, that when the Sex Pistols signed to, I guess it was A&M, that somehow Rick Wakeman had enough pull to say, I don't want them on the same label as me, get them off. And people have believed this rumor for years. The rumor got started because when they signed them, he sent a funny telegram to the guy in the promotions office that says like something. It says something to the tune of like, "Oh, I guess we all have to wear safety pins now," or something like that. Well, Malcolm McLaren saw it when he was in this guy's office, and he read it upside down, and he was able to recite it word for word. But the way he recited it made it sound like that Rick Wakeman wanted the Sex Pistols off the label. So he's been blamed for it for years. Okay, now look, Rick Wakeman was a member of Yes, but at this point he wasn't. He was a solo person who didn't sell a lot of records and who, frankly, very few people cared about.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that the label didn't give two shits whether Rick Wakeman wanted them on the label or not.
Probably not.
Rick Wakeman came out almost immediately and said, "This is not true. I didn't say it." Blah blah blah. And he also said that he owned an instrument repair shop. He said where the Sex Pistols brought their instruments to get repaired. He said, "Why would I chase off my clientele?"
Right.
You know. But anyway, some guy on Facebook said something, and I tried to show him the instances where it was pointed out that this probably wasn't true.
Right.
And he wasn't going for it.
Well, that being said,
No one ever backs down.
the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony for
Right.
Yes was in pretty amazing performance on Yes's
Now,
part.
do you like Yes?
I mean,
Yes.
I like them fine, but
There's no stigma there? See,
no.
because, look, from
No.
my punk rock period,
Oh, see,
there was
like,
a huge stigma.
It's funny because the original kind of punk generation is very much like that. But I think my generation, I think the stigma kind of died off over time, and
Right.
now it's all kind of seen as the same. It was all in the same decade, so
Classic rock?
it's all just classic rock.
Okay, well, no,
So,
you're exactly true, because, and here's an example for me. I hated Fleetwood Mac. I hated Fleetwood Mac.
Right.
And even now, I'll listen to rumors and go, "That's a pretty goddamn good album."
Yeah.
That's a good.
I hate Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, right.
I just,
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
And the Eagles are the same
The,
way.
well,
I do hate the Eagles.
the same way I hate Tom Brady or the same way I hate Tom Brady or Kobe Bryant. Like, I fucking hate him, but then when I see him, Kobe Bryant sink a fadeaway 3-pointer or like Tom Brady make a crazy pass, it's like, God fucking damn it, that's really good.
But no,
I really hate them though.
The punks from that generation, there are certain bands you would never catch in their album collection. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Genesis, Yes, all that stuff. And I can tell you this: every one of these punks has one of those in the closet.
And it's funny.
One.
And
Mine's Genesis.
Oh, okay.
And that's the only time I'm going to say it. But those early Genesis records, for some reason, every once in a while I go, you know what? I'd kind of like to hear something over heavy-handed and kind of pretentious for 18 minutes. All right.
And I also think a lot of it too is because I wasn't raised by a punk rock purist. Because as much as my dad loved punk rock,
Right.
my dad also really loved Rush and Frank Zappa
Sure.
and
A
like
lot
and
of
like
it- a lot
all
of
and
the
like
stuff, we
all
just
like
wouldn't admit it.
yeah and
Not in public.
and definitely lots of Steely Dan.
Yeah.
So like I grew up with both of that. So you
Now,
know,
are you
I
a Steely Dan fan?
huge
Yeah.
Steely Dan.
See, because
fan.
they're one of those bands that I know I'm supposed to like, and about every 2 or 3 years I try to like, and I don't hate.
Just don't get into it.
No, it's not even that. It's for some reason I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate them. I like their singles. They play good.
I mean,
their
it's-
albums sound great.
It's
And
I mean
just don't-
it's they're really catchy to me.
It doesn't
they're
slap
really
me across
catchy.
the face. It just kind of teases me by hanging it in my face.
See, like,
you know?
I don't know. I
They're
think
really
it's
catchy
more of
to
a
me.
To me,
I'm
it's
sure.
more of a musician's band because
That is
Like,
true. That is very true.
these guys, they would have several bass players come in and record a bass part, and then cut 2 of them out or whatever, and they wouldn't tell the other people that they're recording. So like they're always getting the best fucking people playing their stuff.
Still kind of shitty.
I mean, that's what it is. But
No, I know.
they have awesome music.
Have some loyalty.
all the
Well, here's
time.
something. Here's something you might be interested in, and I might be able to find a copy of it if my brother still has it sitting around. But when he first moved to Hollywood, he got a job going over to Chris Squire's house, setting up a video camera, and just recording Chris Squire doing the whole Yes set that they were going to do on the next tour by himself.
Wait, why? I don't get it.
I don't know.
With, like, no
I guess he
backing
wanted.
track
I
or
guess he
whatever.
wanted to tape it so he could watch it later and
Yeah, yeah.
make sure his moves were right or make sure his fingering
I'd
was
love to
right
see
or
that.
whatever. But it was
That'd
done
be
in his
awesome to
basement.
see, yeah.
It was done in his bed. My brother just sets up this video camera, clicks it on poof, and then there's like,
See?
yes, it's 2 hours set.
You
Just
don't know.
basic.
That's awesome.
You don't know Star Wars Kid, do you? It was a meme from a couple of years ago. or-
I don't know him
it should-
personally, no, but I know who you're talking about.
For some reason, I just imagined Star
I
Wars
love the
Kid
idea.
flailing about.
I love the idea of one of us
Like
knowing
the
him
guy-
personally, though. Like, oh yeah, the Star Wars kid, my friend.
I know him.
Yeah, like,
I would just.
He's coming over here in a second. What? Do you want to say hi? No, but what were you gonna say? Oh,
Oh, I'm just saying that I kind of imagined the same setup
Yeah.
for
like the
this
same,
recording
like the same
going
backdrop
down.
and
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
angle,
Yeah.
and he walks in with
giving
you know.
the camera the same looks. Like,
Oh, no, it's not even that, dude. It's literally, I think he might even be like in a bathrobe or something. I'm not sure. It's literally like
That's
my
even
brother
better.
set it up, got it going, and goes, all right, we're ready. And however he was dressed while he was laying down on the couch is how he came down, put on a bass, and go. That was it. It wasn't rehearsed or
That's
anything.
awesome.
It was,
Wow.
yeah.
cool.
so we gotta
I'll
start
ask,
doing.
him, I'll ask him about it.
Yeah.
You gotta do that.
Right on.
Okay, so have you guys been playing a lot live since you moved here?
Well,
Yeah, we go through
Um,
phases.
yes,
Definitely.
ebbs
Well,
and flows. Right now,
right now, recently, not so much,
No.
but that's mostly because what I kind of said to you a little earlier before.
Before we started recording.
Before we started recording, that was that we're kind of like gestating right now. We released a record last year, and since then we've
Exactly
just
a year
been
ago.
Yeah,
It was
And where
420.
can people find it?
On
I-
Spotify,
Where?
iTunes,
Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, Bandcamp.
all that bullshit.
Yeah,
yeah, all that.
all yeah.
All right.
Yeah, our last show was Halloween night. Honestly, and then we took a little break because
Yeah.
in October we had a residency, so we had to play every single week for a month, and there was 5 Mondays that month.
So
somehow.
we played
Played
5
shows,
nights
yeah, in a row.
in October.
Or
And
5 Mondays in a
at
row.
the Satellite, which used to be Spaceland.
And so that was a
Um,
huge undertaking.
That's
We
where
were
I saw the Dictators.
really.
Yeah.
That's
Right on.
So that was a huge undertaking, and so right after the Halloween show, which was awesome, we played 2 sets actually. We did
And
our set,
we
and we did Pink
also
Floyd.
it's we also want to make note that we had a larger live lineup too. We had another drummer who was on permanent drums.
2 drummers.
Well,
I know,
I
yeah.
was
No,
up
he
front
was
the
just
whole
playing.
time.
Oh, okay.
I was up front. I incorporated keyboards.
What
we
is Alex's last name?
had a cellist, Lavia.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we kind of right now are like we still write everything just the
From
3 of
Crazy
us,
Brave.
but yeah, there's a band that we play with called the Crazy Brave, and their drummer Alec has been kind of doing our live stuff, freeing up Peter to be kind of more of a front man and do some keyboard and live and vocals. So
Is this where you see this going? Are you going to look for a permanent drummer?
I think in terms of a live setup, yes, I want to expand the
Even
live
more.
setup.
Yeah, we
even
want-
more.
yeah,
More than just like another drummer. Because in the recording process, I don't want to be necessarily limited to how many members are in the core band.
Right.
I just want to record when I want to record, and then live
Yeah,
wise,
we just as soon
we've,
rather accommodate the recordings in the live
yeah,
setting.
because we've
And-
also
and-
been playing together for so goddamn long that it's like, you know, bringing another person in is it's almost more work in the recording and writing process. I personally think, you know, because we all kind of feed off each other. We all know kind of how each other act when we're writing. But doing a live thing, we really want to make that live show like way more epic than.
Right.
I think we have a loud sound or a good sound for 3 people, but
when we
adding more of it's going to be
when we
way
started
more.
out, we were all about the live show, all about making it more about the show, not just a performance of songs. Making it with people coming away from our show and going like, "Man, that was fucking crazy."
Right.
We don't even want them to say that was good. We want them to be like that was.
Yeah,
an
like I don't know.
experience.
I don't even
Yeah.
care if they liked it. Like I
Yeah.
want them walking away like the next day at their job you know, like their fucking coworker says like, "Hey, what'd you do last night?" It's like, "Well, I saw this crazy fucking band last night."
Yeah.
Like that's like the first thing they remember. You know,
was
like,
it good? There you go. I'm not sure.
It might have been.
Yeah.
I lean that direction.
Yeah.
Like it might have been my clothes are stained. You
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah.
One thing
Like,
that I
you know-
appreciate that like people will say is we sound bigger than what 3 people.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: is the cello mic, or does it have a pickup?
it's actually electric.
It's
Electric cello.
Really?
Yeah.
It's an electric.
Because
Emily.
a cello,
Elkin.
It's Emily Elkin from the
Shout
LA
out.
River Band.
a cello with a pickup run through the proper effects can take up a whole lot of space.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she
Oh,
rocks it. I
the way
mean,
she plays.
she jams with us on other projects too.
As regularly
Yeah.
as we can get her to play
Yeah.
music with us.
And we also have incorporated
Keyboard.
like other members of other bands too, like the guys I live with, Planets. They do a lot of theatrics in their live performance, so they've kind of we've been kind
We're
of
trying to
trying to
borrow
like
from them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of trying to get that same sort of vibe, in the fact that, you know, it's like an ensemble of performers as opposed to, you know, just like this band playing
That's
songs.
what's really cool about it. And I think that's why we gravitated towards this scene of musicians in particular, is because everyone is very experimental and everyone's very like interested in collaborating.
Right, and there's probably
Yeah.
a much deeper pool of people to choose from here. I mean,
100%.
you know, I mean, it's a cliche. This place attracts artists of all shapes
Yeah.
and sizes, and so I'm sure it's a lot easier to find an electric cellist in Los Angeles than it would be to find one in Greenwood.
Well,
Yeah.
it's cool, exactly, and
For
also,
sure.
and because also a lot of, I'd say more than most of us are all transplants anyway. We all came here for a specific purpose,
Right.
And we
Like
all came
lots
here
of
to
other
be
people.
creative,
Yeah.
and so that's what's made it helpful to, you know.
And also, you know, you're going to meet people who want it badly enough that they made the leap. I mean, they're
Yeah.
committed enough. To,
Oh, 100%.
If you're committed enough to move to another state to do what you want,
Yeah.
then you're committed,
Yeah, for sure.
or should be.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, if you're not, then what you're doing, yeah,
What are you doing?
Yeah, man.
it's gotta be really hard.
But we've been just trying to get recording stuff together and going, and so really focusing on getting a lot of new material
Yeah.
going.
So a new album's on the horizon.
I don't know.
I think I think we'll probably release something a little bit smaller
I don't
just
wanna
to
say.
test the waters. We haven't made up our mind yet, but maybe a smaller EP or something like that to just test the waters. And
It's still very early. I mean, we're still in we're still in
the
practice
cave.
phase.
Yeah. And we're really interested in not coming up with the same sound that we've always been doing. We really want to experiment and try some new sounds.
I think because
We don't know what yet.
I think because since we recently expanded live, I've been looking more towards different instruments, as like the keyboard main, particularly. I want to explore more experimental ways to kind of do the kind of same stuff that I'm writing, but you know, just
Because we
add-
love our old songs, but I mean, you know, what is it if we're not going to grow and evolve our
Yeah, I
music
don't get
in
the
a
same
way?
fulfillment out of
Yeah.
it right now.
Yeah, we
I
still
wanna
like
play-
them. We just need to evolve as a band and try different things because otherwise it gets.
I think
boring
we're all
and
in the
stale.
same. I think we're all in the same headspace
Yeah.
that we're never comfortable. Kind of.
And that's always been kind of a mantra of ours that like we just want to play. We don't want to be stuck playing the same shit.
Right.
So we're evolving.
So I think what we
Pikachu,
end up. I think
Raichu.
I think what we
say
end
the
up doing.
Pikachu to Raichu metaphor is very
Very
relevant to our
for this
band.
day and age.
I'm more of a.
Are people still playing Pokemon Go?
Yeah.
I think
I'm
some
more
are.
of a Bulbasaur to Blastoise kind of person, but yes.
But
And also we're nerds, so there you go.
we play a lot of video games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I
that
definitely want
it's-
to make the fact clear that we play very many video games.
A lot of video games.
Just very small ones.
Yeah, just tiny video games.
But it's up. Just to kind of, pardon me. I have a little cough for some reason.
Oh my god.
It's always been a goal to have this huge thing going on stage, because we're still all about the live show.
Yeah.
We want the theatrics and we want that huge sound.
And then to me, I feel like we're getting close to that point of being able to pull off that. You know.
All right, let me go ahead.
Or, no, I was just going to say, because I think
John was trailing off, so I was hoping somebody would put it.
I'm trying to bring it back.
I know, I'm joking.
I think that to me, I feel like we've tapped what we can do for 3. I want to get more people and more shit going on and getting it
Exactly.
louder and bigger. And
Well, coming from somebody who's seen more live shows than I would say the grand total of people in this house, okay?
Yeah.
My ears are paying the price to this day for as many shows as I've seen. My idea of a good show is when a band doesn't stop between every song. Do you guys do that?
So no, we are very anti-banter and
anti-banter.
and I'm not, and I don't want to hate on bands that do it, because I think it can be done.
It can be done
appropriately, but we are very. We don't have
We're just
anything.
not good at
We don't
banter.
have anything to say. I mean, like, our music speaks for itself. I'd like to say, not like in a pretentious way, but like in a way that's like, what are we gonna say in between the song that's gonna get somebody interested?
Right. Well,
Nothing.
the perfect set for me are clusters of songs, clusters of 2 and 3, with very little said between the clusters. And
Right.
It's always good when the last note or chord of the one song
Leads.
becomes
Yeah.
the first
Oh yeah,
chord
and
or note of the next song
Yes.
without missing a beat. If
Yeah,
you can
so-
do this, it's effective. It slaps people. It hits them in the head. They go like, "Oh, geez, man, these guys are." The first thing they'll say is, "These guys are tight." Even if you're not tight, but you can just do that one little thing.
Yeah.
You know. Now the Kinks. The Kinks are one of my favorite bands of all time. I love the Kinks. I worship the Kinks. I hate seeing them live because every time I've seen them, they'll play a song, they'll stop. They'll tune, and Ray Davies will walk up to the mic and go, "Dale," like 5 or 10 times between every fucking song.
My least favorite banter is this next song is about.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, we are interested when we're listening in the privacy of our own home, but we do not care in the live setting what your song is about.
Okay, I have to throw this in real
Yeah.
quick. I saw Judas Priest at the convention center, and we were pretty drunk anyway. And Rob Halford comes out and he goes, "This song is about desert plains, and it's called Desert Plains." And we couldn't stop laughing for 10 minutes. We were just like,
Do you think he did it as a joke? Or
I don't know, but by the
yeah.
time we were done laughing is when he came out on that motorcycle to do Hellbat for Leather, and we were just like, "Oh,
That sounds
Yeah.
fantastic.
Dude,
Okay, I don't want to hate, because I mean, it can be done appropriately,
I'd like
but
to see that shit.
hey, I like Judas
no, I would
Priest."
love to see
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
They were good.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, just go into the next song.
yeah.
well, one thing that we would do between songs is we have a sampler, and at the end of a song, because oftentimes John would have to switch a guitar, or we'd have a song in a different tuning, that kind of thing. So what we do is our sampler, we'd like trigger like usually like clips from old movies.
Right.
And then one of the other members would like do like kind of like weird kind of sounds in between.
Transition kind of
transitions.
thing. Right. Yeah.
Transitions. I've always been a big fan of transitions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also makes it into more of a performance.
Well, that's one thing about us in particular, and we've done this since our first show to now, is that we'll do that, and also like, I just lost my train of thought. But I was saying, I lost my train of thought. But it was exactly what you were saying, basically.
That's that guy.
I'm almost doing a John right now, trailing off.
But anyway, no, I've just been a big fan of transitions ever since. I can't even remember the first band I even saw that did it, but I remember it just blew my mind that. I used to think that the best live shows were the bands that would just play their songs exactly like the record, and it was great to a point. But then the first time I saw bands that would like take their songs and like like the end of the song would like go into this extended coda.
I remember what I was
you
going
know,
to say, and it was
and
exactly this.
They play with them.
Yeah.
It was that we never like to play our songs like they are on the album. We'll play
because
it straight through, but we like to add to it.
when you play your song just like the album, like what's the point? Like most you would hope that a lot of the people coming to your show, or like a good percentage of the people coming to your show, have listened to your songs and have been waiting to see you, and you spend like $10 on this album, you listen to it, and then you go and then you see the same album. Like why not just like sit in the parking lot and listen to the album in your car?
Right, they've heard the studio use. They should want to hear the live.
Like,
so that's what we try to do.
I feel like the live version of the band and the studio version of the band should be like these exclusive things.
Yeah, like from the
I
beginning
mean,
we
just
played-
in terms of like my own
now
humble opinion.
is like we've always taken our songs and the transitions will either be the samples or whatever, but oftentimes we're not like a jam band or anything like that, but we like to extend our songs into kind of almost more improv kind of things where it's like it's different every show. We hate having the same show, like I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we always extend.
I like spontaneity, and my favorite times during a live show is when I'm on stage and we're in the middle of a very heated, like, organic jam at the end of a song that came up spontaneously, and I don't know where we're going next, but we're all on the same track, and we're all looking around at each other, and we're all getting it, and you get this huge adrenaline.
Right.
And you feed off on it, and it kind of becomes a snowball effect of energy on stage, and it's like this incredible, like almost like this personal like high, like it feels unbelievable, and that's my favorite time.
I know exactly what you're
playing
talking
on stage.
About. Exactly. When we saw Elvis Costello the first time, way back in like '77.
I just bought Elvis Costello tickets at the Greek.
Well, this year's model wasn't even out yet. It
Shit.
was like right before this year's
Wow,
came out.
Yeah.
Elvis Costello and the Attractions.
Yes, not only one of the tightest bands I've ever seen, but the way it seemed to me in the audience was as if all four members of the band were all operating off of the same brain. That's what it was like. It was like every one of them seemed to know exactly what the other guy was about to do, even if it wasn't what you had heard on the record, and they were on it. Each one of them, they were like interchangeable pieces.
Yeah.
And I've seen that so few times since then.
I think it also
few.
comes from playing together for a long time. 'Cause, I
Yeah,
mean, that's what I was
But
saying
they
about
haven't
writing.
been, though. The problem was, remember,
Yeah.
his backup band in his first album was Huey Lewis and the News,
I didn't know that.
minus Huey Lewis.
That's crazy. I
Yeah,
had no
it
idea.
was basically this band called Clover, which became Huey Lewis and the News.
Yeah.
That's who backs him up on his first album. He had only had the Attractions maybe for 4 or 5 months when we saw them.
Damn, never
Well,
mind.
Probably
were
at the
they
most.
playing together?
Well, and also like, but who's that bassist on the Attractions though?
Pete Thomas. Bruce Thomas was bass, Pete Thomas on drums, and Steve Knight.
The guy,
brothers?
I have always said
No, they're
if
not.
you want to be a good bassist and you're just learning the bass guitar, just learn how to play this year's model from start to finish, and you'll become a good bassist.
I would agree
you
with
stole
you.
that from me. I always say that.
I would agree with you.
I learned when we all lived together.
No, but I remember hearing that though before you.
Maybe you said it, and I did it, and then I always say.
I
it
would
now.
say the same thing, only I would replace it with Get Happy.
Okay.
I haven't learned Get Happy.
If you
Get
listen,
Happy
if you
is
sit
great.
down and listen to just the bass parts,
Yeah.
Get Happy, by the end of it, your mouth will be like,
my fingers. I remember when we were all living together.
I mean, this
sat
year's
down
model is
and
no
we
slouch.
learned this
That's
year's
my
model.
favorite.
This year's model,
Yeah.
and that was the best thing I've ever done for like learning the bass. Because I'm self-taught. Like I mean, I never went to bass.
Because it's
just
because it's not
doing that
just
kind
the
of stuff.
complexity of the play; it's just the creativity of some of those bass licks.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
It's just it's
And
so
the drums
good.
were right there with them. Though.
Oh,
That's
hell
thing.
yeah.
Exactly, it's
and
everything's
the
in the
keyboards would
pocket.
Come in when they meant to.
Yeah.
Leave when they weren't supposed to. I mean, he knew when. That's a trick right there, is knowing when to play and knowing
When not to
That's
play.
one thing I've learned from John
When to
and
play
Peter,
and when not to play.
because when like I said, like I'm self-taught.
You're
bassist.
part of a unit.
Yeah.
So when I first started playing bass, I wanted to fill all the time. I wanted to run all the time. I wanted
Same
to
when
walk
I
all the
started to
time.
learn drums.
And
I
some
wanted
of the
to.
stuff- And
Yeah.
I remember
Fill all the
them
time.
being harsh, but rightfully so. Stop.
Pause can be powerful.
Yeah, play with the band and don't play by yourself.
Right.
And I think that was the most.
Silence is just
Yeah.
another note. but you
Well,
got
honestly,
Well, it's
I think-
rhythm. It's not. You shouldn't be going the whole time.
Of all the components of a band, I think for the bass player, it's the easiest to kind of get off on his own trip.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, because it's not that nobody's listening to the bass, but because it blends in so much that if he's like, I feel like this.
Yeah.
The only people they're going to notice are probably your bandmates.
And they'll be a
or
little pissed.
everybody else.
Yeah.
All right, well, now we've run slightly over an hour. If you guys want to trail it down by, pissing on people or bitching about each other or giving away each other's phone numbers, do whatever you want here.
Okay.
Well,
Cool.
I think we're just excited to start getting people some new music. And
Well, if we're gonna do whatever, should we
Yeah.
share an anecdote or something? We have so many anecdotes.
I guess. I don't know.
And
So-
you wait till now to tell me?
We've I don't know how many tours we've been on, but basically this is the first year in like 3 or 4 years that we are not going on a tour.
Yeah.
And we usually do 2 tours a year, and we basically travel the coast, the West Coast.
Are you going to bring up the nickname list?
Oh, I wasn't going to, but
Oh, well.
Didn't you guys
We
get
have a
stopped and
nickname
searched
list.
in Texas?
that was in 2011.
That was a different band, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was Working Hour. But yes, that did happen.
I'd rather
El
bring up the
Paso,
nickname list. That's
El
fun,
Paso, yeah.
Isn't it?
I got
Yeah.
stopped there on the way here.
So
There you
That
go.
place sucks.
since we travel, since we were going so often to these places, we were revisiting a lot of the same places, and you meet hundreds, if not like 1,000 people.
I'm actually going to bring my laptop over here. I'm going to
Playing.
bring up the document.
but
Oh,
nothing
God.
too sensitive.
nothing
But,
too
um,
sensitive.
So basically, it's hard to remember everyone's names, and there was awkward times where you get to a venue and somebody would go, "Hey, Ethan. Hey, John. Hey, Peter. Whatever." Like, nice to see you again, and we'd be like,
We don't remember their names.
Hi.
So
How's it going? And it feels so shitty for us because
Watch,
we're
I'm
like
gonna
we
bring
don't
this
want
up
to
and, like,
be
just
like
porn.
jerks, So after like the first tour or whatever, we started keeping a list of everyone's name, but we had a nickname with them, so it reminded us of like
Everybody always got a nickname.
yeah. So every single person we met on tour has a nickname.
And
Alright.
I
Damn, that's a long list.
I created a document, so I have it by city.
And
then
some
I have-
some are fine and innocent, and then some are a little bit more risque, or some are
Especially with people that we did not like.
Yeah.
We gave them bad nicknames.
Okay,
Yeah.
you can do like the Montana
Montana.
Campbell's soup or whatever.
Oh no, that's bad. I don't want to do that
Whatever.
one.
That's story. That's
I'll tell
funny.
that story. Wait,
That's weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're
All right. Wait.
Tell
wait,
that-
where-
tell
where
that
is that
story.
missing?
That's a good one.
It was Terrible Tits.
terrible tits. That was your name.
TT. Terrible
Yeah,
Tits.
we're playing at this veterans
I forgot about this one.
place in Bozeman, was it? No, not Bozeman, Montana. Missoula, Montana. And
Is it Missoula? Yeah.
all of a sudden,
Really
we were
fast.
saying that all night.
we see this girl show her tits
Right.
to these people who are playing pool. We're like, oh.
They weren't even performing music.
That was like
We're the
All it
distance
took was a
guy,
pool game.
Well, we were the
Yeah,
distance.
yeah.
This was
Me and
before
This
we were
was-
playing.
me and Peter did not.
This
see
was
this.
this was a
It was a VFW.
It was a VFW in
I'm trying to
Missoula.
fucking tell a story.
Oh, sorry.
You guys are
Sorry,
giggling
sorry.
like
Sorry.
little schoolgirls over here.
We're just reading the list.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, I wish I was in on
So anyway, so we played the show. It was fine. It wasn't that crowded. It was kind of there was
It
some
just
kind
a
of weird
man
spots.
night, you know.
And then a few people were like, "Hey, do you want to come stay with us?" And we were like, "Yeah, that'd be great." And then another person came up, "Do you want to stay with us? It'd be great." Everyone's being super nice, but like when we were
This
getting
one girl's kind of clingy,
yeah,
and she'd showed her tits earlier from a pool game that she lost.
yeah.
And like, it's from a distance. It's kind of dark. Over here, we're like, oh, tits. That's cool.
John was the only
Didn't
one that
really-
saw it that time.
I didn't really get a good view from.
And so
the distance.
anyway, so we're packing up that night. She's like, "You're gonna stay with me, right?" And we're like, And me and Peter are like, "John, please tell her we're not gonna stay with her." Only because like we just were in a weird part. We'd never been there before, and we just kind of
None of us
wanted.
wanted to stay.
We
with
just kind of wanted to go camp or be in the car or whatever.
It didn't seem enticing.
Yeah. And so all of a sudden we tell her that. We're like, "Oh yeah, we're not gonna stay. Sorry, we're gonna leave." And she goes, "Okay," and just lifts up her shirt.
Mind you, we're outside at night, and it's about
Just on the street.
21
in,
degrees
like
out.
Yeah.
early November.
It's like
in
21
Missoula,
degrees out.
Montana.
She lifts up her shirt, and just for me and Peter, are standing there, and she said something like, "Because you guys didn't see earlier," and me and Peter just sit there with like like our eyes.
was
wide.
there,
I really,
dude.
if there were a snapshot,
I think I was
if there
behind
were a
her.
snapshot
Yeah, I don't know.
of that moment, it would have been the saddest flash picture
like
ever
I think
taken.
we literally said.
They
It
were
like
terrible too.
the expression on all three of our faces was just this look. I don't even know. It was like I think I was just frowning.
Oh, like it
We
was
can
like
do
I
one
remember
more
we
now.
just said like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, and then she just went and she went with another band.
Yeah,
She did. I forgot that.
Yeah,
The
she
other
went-
band.
she went with the other
Yes.
band.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
sounds
sure
like
they
the other band did you a
probably-
service.
apparently, yeah.
Yeah, well, they
Yeah.
probably did her service.
Okay, well, I
too.
guess I have to ask, what the hell does that have to do with Campbell's soup?
Oh, her titties
Oh,
look like Campbell's
they
soup
look like
cans.
Campbell's soup cans,
Jesus
They're just
Christ!
dangling and
like
frolicking all
both
about.
going in opposite directions.
It was one of the most traumatizing experiences of my life.
Tony can't handle that one.
And that
Wait, what was
night,
his?
Camp-
I know it was TT, but what was the other nickname? Because he had two. It was Campbell Soup
Tips.
Cans.
Yeah, it's Campbell soup cans, terrible.
Well, that night we camped in the
Oh,
pass
bad.
up in by the Idaho border, and our tires were popped. All right, hold on. We can
Wait,
find one.
I
Oh no,
I don't
Jabo the Cookie Monster.
Which one's that?
No,
Jabo the I
we
can't
can't do
finish
that.
Sorry,
this.
we're looking at the.
I can't finish this story.
Oh,
It's
that's
an
a great- that's a
amazing.
great story.
This is an amazing
Because this is
story.
actually about our album.
This is about our album. It's about one of the
Alright,
shows that
okay.
we played. No, this is a great story.
Okay, so
Go
we
ahead.
went to Ann
or the
Arbor.
Zeros.
Well,
the
okay.
family of
We
Zeros.
played at this venue, the Blind Pig.
Well,
Do you
the-
know that place?
The Blind
Nirvana
Pig.
played
The
there
Blind
and
Pig is a
shit.
fairly
Hollywood?
the blind in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Okay, no.
Anyway, well, it wasn't the Blind Pig. It was
We
the
were
basement.
The basement of
of the
that.
Blind Pig.
So
They had this. So they had this venue, and when we get there, we were like, "Are you
called
fucking?"
the 8-Ball.
Well, yeah, it's called the 8 Ball. When we get there, we were like, "Are you fucking serious?" But apparently, this is a fairly popular local venue where bands would play all the time. It was
A hallway.
a hallway. Now, and by hallway, I mean
An actual hallway.
it was a hallway, a corridor. It was probably
We could not stand two abreast with our guitars, so we had to be tilted.
You were like in a line.
it is so
Drummer in the back.
So there was no
and then
stage.
two-
It was just the end of the corridor.
Right.
And the corridor was probably like 60 feet long, 60, 70. It was a long, narrow corridor. And then speakers were set up at either end. And then you could barely fit a drum kit. You had to literally like almost climb over the kit to get
This is
behind
one
it.
of our favorite shows.
I love that.
And it, so we get there. We're like, this is where we're gonna play. At first, we're like,
We're like, this is gonna
this is gonna suck.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, everybody shows up.
And they were
And-
also being super nice to us. They were like, here's beer.
People
here's-
start feeding us shots and beer and all this stuff.
Which
And
is
then,
a good
and then
thing,
they smoke us out behind the parking lot.
Right.
We're just getting blazed and drunk. And it's us and 4 other bands. It's a 5-band lineup that night.
In one corridor.
And
Yeah.
one corridor,
Yeah.
and
And-
every
but the-
and
the
every
audience
sing
loved
and
every
every
single
s-
band.
and every single band is this crazy psychedelic punk band, like keyboard organs and like weird
Remember
doorsy
one of the
sounding
bands
stuff with
set
like
up stacks.
One band had 36 speakers.
Yeah,
it was
that they
for like
set-
a
hallway.
3-piece.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was basically
Was that a
a
three-piece?
wall of
Yeah,
speakers.
and anyways,
Yeah.
all these
Sorry.
crazy bands are playing, and the corridor is packed. You cannot move in this corridor, and kids are going crazy, ape shit. And we're standing there just stoned, looking at this all, and thinking like, we're going on next. And the guy who organized the event, he walks up to me, and he's like kind of like this long-haired hippie-looking guy.
cool.
It's Ann Arbor, and he nudges me. And I look over at him, and he just puts something in my hand, and he looks up at me, and he's got this serious look in his face, and he goes,
I can't.
he goes, I can't finish this. I look down, and it's half of a cookie.
And Peter, without hesitation,
and without
just shoved it in
hesitation,
his
I
mouth.
just go, I just eat the whole cookie.
I like look at it and
and
I'm like,
right
why?
right when I bite into it, it's the most weed taste. I just immediately taste weed. It's just like, oh shit, like so intense that I almost got a little dizzy when I was
Right.
chewing it. Like, oh shit, and then I swallow it, and 30 minutes later we're setting up, and I'm seeing things in like frames, like individual frames per second.
Oh, the
like,
snare goes here.
Oh, it's like, oh
Honestly.
shit! And we're set up, and then I'm standing with John, and I can't stand with my bass like this. I have to stand like this because of the corridor.
And the people were going so crazy, like they were hanging on Peter and stuff. We were playing R.L. Stein. And
so the front, there was no. I mean, where the audience ended, the microphone stand began.
Right.
And, like, I'm at a microphone here, and a person's literally here, so, like, inches to another person's face, singing the sweat, lights. I'm not quite sure what I'm playing. I hope I'm playing it right, but it's, like, punky stuff, and we're just, like, headbanging. And then I try to, like, just step out to get some room, because, like, I need to, like, step to, like, get some movement. And right when I step forward, everybody just converges on me and grabs the back of my head, my ear, like my
like
ears.
In a loving way.
They start grabbing the bass guitar, and like I'm just doing this, and like this guy's holding me head to head and going like there was this look in his eye, and I'm just. It's
I
like
could be
a
wrong, but I
blur.
feel like they were singing the lyrics too. It was like R.L. Stein.
It was
like,
really
like,
weird,
yeah.
and
I was doing a guitar solo and just watching.
I was sitting in the
them
back,
attack
just like,
Peter.
what is going on?
Would you have liked this better or worse without the cookie?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean-
but the funny thing about that experience is we actually incorporated those lyrics into one of our songs on Basset Case, which was "I Can't Finish This Alone,"
Yeah.
and it's about Peter getting a brownie.
Well, a cookie.
whatever, a cookie,
Yeah, a little
yeah.
cookie. Yeah, and it was a really intense moment. It was a super fun show. Everybody was really into it. And then afterwards, after we finished playing, I remember like laying on a booth.
Oh, yeah, you went to like bed. Well, not
Well,
bed.
I
you
wouldn't
were
go.
laying
I
in
no,
bed.
I was like laying in a
Pulled
booth.
an Irish exit.
Like, and I was just kind of like
Yeah.
sleeping for a little
I
bit
was just
with
sitting
my
in the bar.
hoodie up over my head so nobody
I
could
remember we
like
were all
see the
separate.
crazy look in my eye.
You were like sitting in a booth, like laying down. I was like sitting at a bar, and you were like outside or something
Oh,
like
I
that.
couldn't
yeah.
find my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but anyway.
It was an
We
intense.
have-
You didn't let him drive the van that night, did you?
Who did? No, I think we walked to wherever we were staying. We stayed at somebody's house.
No, we drove.
No, we didn't, did we?
Yeah, I
drove.
think we did.
Well, then you probably drove. I definitely.
John drove, I think. I think I remember being in the passenger seat. Yeah, that was a fun night.
I'm always-
Is
and
it, is it because you were the most drug resistant?
Yeah.
You probably
probably
weren't
yeah.
drinking or something.
I don't think we went very far.
We were drinking.
I think we went
It
like
was
a couple blocks
We
over.
don't advocate drunk
I don't
driving, and
really-
in
yeah.
fact, I have a DUI.
Jesus, Johnson.
Yeah, we do not
We're going
condone
back
it.
to Canada soon. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm always in the backseat though, so I
You
don't.
got a
really know.
DUI in Canada?
no, I got it in.
We were almost
Indiana.
denied entry
Actually,
to the
you're-
country
you'd
because
be-
John had a
you'd be fine now. It's
DUI
been
on
over
his
10
record.
years.
Yeah. So it's just now 10 years.
So you'd be fine.
This
If-
October.
If
Yeah.
if you have a DUI within the past 10 years, they
They
can
treat
deny
any-
you entry. to
Well,
the
they
country.
treat
you have to
any
talk
foreign
yourself in,
infraction.
basically?
You had to pay to be a temporary resident.
Yeah.
So John was a
It was like a
temporary
couple
Canadian
$100
for 3
And you
days.
can only do that
Wow.
once.
Or
in
for
a
2 days or
10-year
something like
period.
that.
Or you can take a drug and alcohol class, but I refuse.
Do you have to take it in Canada or do you have to take it in the United
You
States?
can take it in the U.S.
Yeah.
Did donuts taste better those 3 days?
No, but they did have
Man,
an
I tell you
awesome
what, they have
breakfast
the
spot.
Best breakfast spot, yeah.
Oh, that
we
breakfast
went
spot
there-
was
$2.99
great.
Canadian,
Yeah.
which is like
That breakfast spot was really good.
$3.50, $4.
It was awesome.
And it was
Eggs,
so much
hash
food.
Vancouver was
Toast.
some of our favorite times.
Bacon,
Yeah.
coffee.
Like, that was one of the best
We,
spots.
we,
we've
we,
ever
we,
been.
we hung out with
giant
really
plate.
cool people in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Very
Oh,
cool
man.
people in
I've
Vancouver.
always had a good time when I go to Canada.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
I've never been that
Love to
far
go back.
west. I've only been like, Toronto, London,
I really want to go to
Ottawa,
Toronto.
Quebec.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, BC, I mean, it's expensive. It's a lot like San Francisco, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful up there.
Yeah.
A lot of things to do, cool people.
Yeah. Our shows there were
Fairly
really
tolerant,
good.
aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're
for
very
sure.
nice,
That's
too.
what I've heard.
And it's just and it's Pacific Northwest.
Yeah,
Exactly what you would think it would
I think
look like over there.
when we were there, we played 3 shows in like 24 hours or something like that. Or
That was
48 hours
awesome. We played this underground punk club
at like 2 a.m.
at 2 in the
And it was
morning.
No, it was
packed.
later than that.
Or
It was
2 or 3 in
3
the
a.m. or something.
morning.
It was
30
packed,
when we
though.
played.
Like the classic like dudes with mohawks and
It was really fun.
crazy
Leather
piercings
jackets.
everywhere and like it was awesome.
It was really cool.
And it was the venue was like basically like in a building by an overpass. Like they were like prostitutes walking out,
walking
walking
around.
outside and shit.
Yeah.
It was
Containers
real
and-
divey stuff.
Yeah.
But you know,
And
it was Canada, so we didn't really feel in danger or anything.
it was I mean it was like definitely illegal. Like
It was definitely an illegal venue
yeah.
for
Have
sure.
you toured Europe yet?
no,
No.
I went to-
Oh, because when you do, you're going to see venues there that you're going to wish you could forget.
yeah.
I saw the Zero Boys play at this place. It was literally an abandoned factory that nobody could do anything with. So the hippies just basically
The place
took it
in
over.
fucking Texas and Houston, dude, like the
fuck that.
like the
There was
doll
a-
factory that we played in.
There was a huge engine
Remember?
block that must have been from like
How could you ever
a
forget?
luxury liner,
Yeah.
and they just like made it flat and used it for bar.
Oh
You know?
really? Yeah.
And,
yeah.
and it had the grossest
sounds cool,
bathroom
though.
I've ever seen in my life. And I know everyone says that.
Yeah.
Everyone says they've got this one. But this one was 2 inches of water, the entire room, and there were no urinals. There was holes in the wall, and whether you hit the hole or not, it didn't matter because the floor was already wet.
Yeah, right. That's
Yes,
so
it was
gross.
so... I mean, you could not carry anything electrical in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
You would be dead.
Sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we played.
That's rough.
I've definitely shit in some weird places on
Oh.
tour.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, nobody has the worst shit story than I do. Nobody,
Can we hear it?
nobody has it. I
don't wanna
I
hear
have
it.
the worst one ever.
Oh,
And it's not even that bad. It's just the thought of it makes you go. Ugh. Do you remember for a while when when Pete first showed up to town and I was having him do the extra work and whatever? Do you
Yeah.
remember me talking about the job I had with the Marines?
No. Oh
Yeah.
yes, I do. Yeah.
They sent us out into the desert, into these fake towns that they built in the middle of nowhere. They dress us up as Arabs and they would practice arresting us and all this stuff before they would head.
Wait,
to
maybe I didn't
Iraq.
know this. This is insane.
Yeah. So it was a village, and they had, it was made of shipping containers. And
Yeah.
they cut windows and doors in the shipping containers. They lined them with wood so we wouldn't roast in the sun because it was like 120 degrees in the
Yeah.
middle of the day, and they stack them. So we had like this village, all made of things. You go there, they give you a headdress, they give you the dish dash, they give you your name. I was Zeke Bazil. I told all the Marines that I owned the finest adult Betamax store in town.
Is that a made-up character thing?
Yeah,
or-
and I said, you want fucky, you come to my store,
That's
and then
insane.
they'd laugh and leave me alone because the
Yeah.
thing was is if they arrested you, it didn't hurt or anything, but you had to go with them and like sit for 2 hours and do nothing, and then
Yeah.
they go, okay, you're arrested, up, you can go, and nobody wants to sit in a hot room for 2 hours and do nothing.
Yeah.
So
So you might as well play it cool.
yeah, so you just
Yeah.
try to be as cool as possible. If you make them laugh, you hope they won't mess with you. Well, anyway, the first tour they had there's no running water, there's no electricity. And so they just have portalets, these portalets that the sun is just baking in the sun.
Yeah.
So everything that's in that bowl is just like becoming like a stew.
God damn.
Okay, so they didn't
man.
know how many times it would take or how often they had to be emptied during this week. And apparently toward the end of the week, this one in our village started to get full, like really full. Like so that the contents on the inside were starting to rise above the lid.
That's
And
insane.
nobody had anywhere else to go, so people would go in there and they would stand on the seat and squat and just sort of add to this mountain and hope that it didn't touch them if they dropped too low. Finally, this one guy goes, "God damn it, I've had enough of this!" And he goes over and he grabs this garbage bag. He puts the garbage bag over the top of the toilet and he pushes it down with his hands until it forms this concave shit bowl that people
so
continued
messed up.
to use until they emptied it.
Wow.
How long was that for?
The first tour was a week, and then after that, they'd have us out for like 3.5, 4 days.
Wow.
Oh.
But it paid really well, and honestly, it was kind of fun. I mean, I almost stepped on a rattlesnake once, and I had to sleep in a sandstorm, which I guarantee you don't ever want to do.
Oh, I don't
I
want.
can-
Yeah,
Because there's no doors or
imagine.
windows, so I mean, literally the sand is like whipping all over. You would wake up like every 20 minutes and go,
Yeah.
turn your mattress over, dust yourself off, get back in bed, and
Yeah.
then you'd be covered in, like, literally buried in dirt before you'd wake up again.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I come back from Coachella and I can't breathe because of the dust. I can't
Right.
imagine like actually breathing in it.
And there were rattlesnakes, there were scorpions, there was coyotes, and kangaroo rats, which if you've never seen one, are cute as hell.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
literally rats.
That
but,
was like kangaroo. Yeah.
But yeah, and they hop like, and they literally
That's
look
funny.
like little baby kangaroos. So whenever you see a rattlesnake eat one, you feel just a little bit of remorse.
yeah.
Little buddy.
That's insane.
All right, you guys ready to cut it?
Man, thank you.
Sure, man. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, yes, hour and a half. You guys are coming up on Paul Mahern territory. His was 2 hours.
Oh yeah, I don't want to keep you, dude.
I know. I'm just gonna text them and be like, "Hey, my thing." I told him I was going to get my car looked at.
Any last words? Hi, Mom.
Oh, don't put that part in there. But.